That comic podcast.
Hello. Welcome to That Comic Podcast. I'm your host, Menti, and with me, as always, are my wonderful sidekicks. First, Mr. Mosh. Go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Can I kick it?
Yes, you can.
I
Let's
don't
do
like
this.
it when you just kind of go, when you rattle off like that. Can I kick it? Like, I feel like it's kind of lost. Can we try it one more time?
You want
And
some-
Mosh, go.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Good God. And there's
Looking for
Pete Features.
consistency.
Hello, internets.
You broke consistency. That's my point. And then there's Lance.
Cyclops sucks.
Yeah.
He sucks this week, too.
This week. No, this week's true.
Yeah.
He's got some good weeks, man. Like New Comic Book Day was a good day for him. You know, that was a good week.
There's some
He hasn't had a good week in a while.
ridiculous suckage this week.
Oh, and then of course we've got the lovable baby Huey.
What's going on?
What's going on? See, look at this. See that, Moshko? That's consistency. Damn it.
I'm still finding my voice in my intro after all these years. That's
We
all.
know your voice. We know
I'm
your
sick of
intro.
doing Can I Kick It? I want something new. All right? That's all.
That's fair.
I'm a broken
That's
record
fair.
at this point.
You are a broken record.
all
but
are.
We are a broken record. We break this record together. All right. Well, we don't have as much news to talk about as we normally do, but that is okay because we have a lot of thoughts on both Ironheart and Jurassic World Rebirth. So I have a feeling that's going to take up the vast majority of our time, but we do have some Obi-Wan news and we do have some DCU news before we get into our comic reviews. But before we do all that, let's talk about Jurassic World Rebirth, because we've been talking about this for a while and I've been talking a lot of trash and how excited I was for that trash, but that it was going to be trash. And guess what? It's trash.
It's great.
No,
Aw.
it's trash.
Very
it's-
the lead.
But it's beautiful trash. It is.
Is it?
It's terribly great trash. Oh, yes, it is. It is. It is
Scarlet
a
looked beautiful, but
we just have to accept that none of them are ever going to be Jurassic Park ever again, and that they are just mindless dinosaur movies like Fast and the Furious kind of gave up street racing and just became mindless cars in space.
You're lucky we're only 2
Yeah.
minutes into this. The words that want to come out of my mouth.
No, okay, so who all actually saw Rebirth?
me.
All right, so
I saw the lines for Rebirth.
a good
Right.
chunk of us. So let's just do a quick spoiler-free what we think, and then we'll get into some more spoiler territory in just a second. But Features, what do you think?
It has its moments, but underwhelming. Very underwhelming.
Yeah, I get that. All right, go ahead, baby Huey.
It was boring.
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 See, I didn't have that problem.
Yeah.
20 minutes in and we sold 2 dinosaurs. I was like, all right, come on, let's get into this. Let's get to the island. Let's get it going.
Well, that's
I
par for the
I was
course. That's par for the course. I mean, they always open with some kind of crazy death from a dinosaur, whatever the main dinosaur that movie's going to be. And then there's usually 20 minutes worth of setup before we actually start taking a tour somewhere.
Right, we didn't have a crazy death in the beginning.
Yeah, we did. Oh, hell yeah, we did. It was in the trailer, but hell yeah, we did. I mean, it was. The entire scene was in the trailer. But that, which I actually find to be one of the saddest moments in the movie, which says a whole lot that was in the trailer. When the poor scientist is like, just please open the door. He's like, you're just right there. Just hit the right. And then when the realization that he's gonna die hits him, that guy had very little screen time, but he owned that role because I fell for him. I fell for him when he got grabbed. I was like, I can't blame her.
That's a whole other issue. Is that D-Rex?
Yeah, the D-Rex. Yeah, the D-Rex.
Well, wait. Let me ask you. Like right after that part in the beginning with the scientist.
Well, spoiler alert now at this point. I have a feeling we're getting into that territory. You now know that we think it's trash, but it's boring, acceptable trash.
when the logo comes in, did that feel kind of cheesy a little bit? Like this is
A little
What's
bit.
not cheesy about Jurassic Park?
Yeah,
It's
well,
been
no,
cheesy
but-
for 20 years.
Yeah, but it was
No,
very
just the
blatant.
logo.
It
It
was
was
like super cheesy.
It was
though.
blatant that they want to brand it as a franchise because they haven't quite done that, because they kind of branded it as separate franchises, as Park and as World. But like, you know what it reminded me of? When Star Wars started doing that banner in front of all their shows with all the helmets, the blue and red helmet light
Yeah.
show that they do. That's
Yeah.
cheesy as hell. It's like, you already have a good Star Wars intro. You don't need that. But it's a way to tie everything together, and I have a feeling that's what they were trying to do.
they
with-
want a Marvel intro.
Right. It's just what it felt like, and it was really unnecessary. The characters are a little hollow. Nobody's really that well developed. Everybody hates the family. I don't hate the family. I actually liked their story. I thought the family story was better than Scarlett Johansson's, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Like for me, they moved the film.
A little bit more, yeah, because I don't care about the corporate greed side of the story. I mean, it's the whole being lost in a terrible environment where you're getting attacked by dinosaurs. Now, that happens as well with the scientists, but it feels a lot like Jurassic Park 3, where you're just kind of like, this is going to end soon.
It felt like a amalgamation of 2 and 3.
Kind of. I like a lot of 2. And I know that's...
I like to.
I like a lot of 2.
ending.
Yeah, the ending leaves a lot to be desired, but I think the biggest problem with the movie is that it tends to be a level progression kind of a story, where it's very taking you on a tour of this new island. Like, the first thing is like, we got to find the water dinosaurs, and then it's all just a big scene about finding the water dinosaur, and then it's like, we got to find the land dinosaur, and then it's all about finding the land dinosaur, and then we got to find the air dinosaur, and then it's all
So
about
it's
finding
Pokemon.
kinda. It's got some Pokemon vibes to it. I mean, no locusts. I mean, that's a win.
Yeah,
That's a win. It is better than the last 2 Jurassic World movies. Like, if I had to put it in an order, I would say it's under Jurassic World 1. It is better than the last 2. It's not the best thing. But when they are fighting dinosaurs and the dinosaurs are actually a part of the story, a lot of fun. Love the ocean sequence of the Spinosaurus and the Mosasaur fighting together. I thought that was cool. The sequence in the whitewater rafting sequence, thought was really fun with the T-Rex. I thought that was really well done.
That was cool.
yeah.
That was a fun scene. I hated how they just chumped the raptors. Like, the
Yeah.
hell,
Yeah.
the
That was
raptors took a
crazy.
back seat. They just get killed.
That
They
was
get
funny.
Murked instantly and then replaced with giant chickens.
I was going to say, did they put feathers on the raptors yet?
No. We,
So
well, we
they're-
got that in the last movie. We
Oh,
did.
we
We
did?
did see that in the last movie.
Yeah,
That's-
was it the Archaeopteryx or something? I think that's what it's called.
we got several feathered dinosaurs in the snowy part of that story.
Yeah.
But this one, they were just, I don't know, they weren't as threatening or terrifying because they could fly. It was kind of the cleverness of the raptor that made them so interesting, and the way that they hunted together and stuff.
Going
the
in the
chicken things
drains.
sucked. They were not interesting at all. And actually, we were talking about this before the show. Those of us that saw it were, if they replaced the D-Rex with the T-Rex and they replaced the stupid chicken monsters with the raptors, it would have had a much better ending.
Yes.
I would have
Yes.
cared so much more, and it really was easily. You could have done it without changing the story, like, at all. If you took all of the nonsense about making up fake dinosaurs, which is my biggest complaint with every single one of these movies, that you want to focus on cloning more than dinosaurs, I cannot wrap my mind around that. You know what I mean? That'd be
Yeah.
like if Lord of the Rings was all literally just about forging the ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, we just want to spend the entire movie on just how they got the ring so circular. It's like, I don't.
Wow.
Wait, go back to the war and the fighting and the. What are we doing? There's orcs and stuff happening. Why are we sitting here with the whatever? It's like, go ahead.
I was gonna say I will share my biggest gripe with the film was the D-Rex. I did like the whole, we got to find these specific dinosaurs. That was cool, but it happened so quickly that I was thinking, okay, the end's got to be something crazy. Like, normally you get the T-Rex has that redeeming arc where he saves everybody just because it's the T-Rex and he's like, I'm going to eat these raptors. That really doesn't happen.
That's just them got lucky.
Yeah,
They just got lucky. That's that. Nothing else other than the Raptors started attacking the T-Rex. Something tells me if the Raptors just ignored it, the T-Rex wasn't necessarily going after the hard prey.
right.
It probably was going to go after the family. Like they're lucky the Raptors said, "Hey, these guys are mine." Like they are really lucky on that because it wasn't like the T-Rex walked in like, "That's right,
Right.
I'm here to save you, family."
But then this D-Rex, the only thing that was like crazy about it was the size. Like there was just a spectacle.
Oh, he was
Of the
gigantic.
T-Rex.
Well, it was just. I
Yeah.
mean, the whole cloning concept is stupid.
Yeah,
It's never been fun. At no point have they introduced a cloning dinosaur, and you were like, "That was incredible."
Yeah.
yeah. It doesn't work. They got to stick to, again, like you said, just
Dinosaurs.
dinosaurs, and give us situational situations where it's survival situations. That's
Okay.
what I'm trying to say.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
This is going to be a little bit of a rant, but bear with me. When you are a baby, right, a child, tiny little munchkin, there's usually two types. I'm into animals or I'm into trucks, right? And sometimes those animals are dinosaurs. For a lot of kids, it's dinosaurs. Dinosaurs
Yep.
like the end-all, be-all, awesome thing
Fair.
that we love
Yep.
at a young age. Or it's trucks and cars and stuff. And that's my little brothers both went through that. You know what I mean? So there's all sorts of situations where you've got kids who are really into cars and trucks, and then you've got kids who are really into dinosaurs. That explains adults who are into Jurassic Park the way they are, or adults who are into Fast and the Furious the way they are.
Okay.
That's why we accept the garbage that are these franchises, and we still go up and we show up every single time. We are there opening night, even though we know in our heart of hearts what we're seeing is trash. It is a hollow story. It offers
Yep.
very little. If you just want to see dinosaurs biting stuff, it's cool. It's not as gory. They did bring some blood and stuff back, but it really
They did,
needs this franchise needs a hard R of
Yeah.
a scary survival
Horror.
dinosaur horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dinos by Michael
Agreed.
Bay.
It wants so badly to be this PG-13 franchise, and it hurts it every single time. A lot of people got killed behind objects.
Right.
So
I
we
didn't
wouldn't
like that.
actually see the death, or it was far enough away that you saw them getting eaten, but it didn't feel as bad as like watching them get ripped apart.
Yeah.
Right,
So
like even
it-
the Spino killing the one guy. We were looking at the back of the Spino while he ate.
Yeah.
Or the girl with the packet,
Oh,
Yeah.
and she gets pulled
Right.
away, and you're like, really? What?
That was another gripe. I'm
Did we-
sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. But how do you not hear these things coming after you? Like are
I mean,
dinosaurs
the water,
tiptoeing?
I can. The water is I can understand. It's allowed by. You've been to the ocean. It's loud.
Yeah, but you've also heard, regardless of saying, you should hear some type of impact.
I'll give him this one. The sand, and they're right on the water. The dino was in the water.
No, it was on the beach. It woke up across from her.
It's
And
true,
went.
it did.
And if you watch it, it woke up. Yeah, right. And then went right into the water. Came
And then
around.
she didn't hear it splashing out of the water as it came up and then ate her. I mean, he makes a bit of a point. Let's not argue
little bit.
over one of the weirdest deaths, unnecessary deaths. I mean, all of these movies are getting really bad at just introducing cannon fodder. As they introduce you,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know you're going to die.
Oh, in the movie, I'm going after where the bald-headed black guy. I was like, oh, he's next. And he
Oh,
was
yeah.
next.
Yeah.
Like, I was
Oh,
like,
the
you can
French
just
dude?
tell the,
Yeah, the French.
the progression. I was like, all right.
They essentially added a character to die at each of the dinosaur cut points. So every time they get the thing they need to get from the dinosaur, which is just DNA to help create sicknesses. or-
Dino DNA.
essentially is the dino specific living tissue from dino DNA can help create vaccines and stuff for the future. And that's kind of the premise of the story. But again, it's very shallow, and then the question is do we give it to this evil corporation who is very obviously evil as he tries to as he lets children fall off boats and like to save his own ass.
No, he
obviously-
tried to save her.
Yeah, right. No,
Yeah.
but
tried.
he's very obviously the villain of the story. So the story is: do we give this open source to the world, or do we give this advancement in medicine to an evil corporation that's going to upcharge it? Like the Wu-Tang fan. What was his name?
Oh,
Matt.
Sure.
What was that dude? The guy that Ghostface got all mad at. Strictly, what it doesn't matter. He's an asshole. Yeah, so that's that. I guess. Are we I don't know what else to say about this movie. I wish I had more to say. I do think that the experience of going to a movie people are excited to see in theaters is keeping people from going to the theaters.
Yeah.
I think the movie going audience is now just as bad as the prices are after because I can't
Prices
think of
are ridiculous right now.
Well, but that's my point. The prices are so bad that people acting stupid in the movie theater is ruining all other movies, because you're willing to put up with it with a giant franchise or something you're going to like, but it's still, irks you to your core. You're not willing to put up with that for the, what do you do when I got nothing else going on? I'd rather watch a movie on Netflix than deal with that nonsense if I got to spend that kind of money to hear everyone else not shut the hell up. It was incredible.
Right.
The entire theater spoke.
Yeah.
Like everyone in the theater was just chatting the whole time.
It's got to be your theaters that you're going to.
There are a lot of theaters in my area that I go to. It's not like I frequent just one. And we're talking, some of them are, the King of Prussia Mall Theater is not some small theater.
And they ain't no better.
No.
Like,
I mean, I went to one here in with the movie tavern in Exton. One, it was dead. There was like 6 people in the theater.
Well, that says more about your theater than mine.
You need to pick your time properly. Like,
Yeah, mine
always
was at
go
5
before noon.
Yeah, 10 a.m.
Well,
is
one-
that hot
yeah.
spot.
Or 5 p.m. on Sunday. Perfect time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
but
I'm
like the
usually
7
a morning
o'clock
person.
premiere times.
Yeah.
Run, stay away.
Yeah,
Half
it was the only
people are
time I
drunk
had.
Anyway.
It's the only time I had options, but it still doesn't change the fact that I personally think that the experience that I'm having in and out at all theaters, essentially since the pandemic, has just gotten worse and worse and worse. And it doesn't matter how many popcorn buckets or discounts you give me to make the experience better. And the worst part about it is a lot of the theaters aren't even being kept up. So they got cool seats and stuff now, but they're all broken and they're all like, it's just, everything's getting trashy. And you know what we used to have growing up? Remember the usher that used to walk around with the flashlight and shine it in your face if you didn't shut up? That doesn't happen anymore.
No.
There's
that hasn't
no
happened for years.
accountability in the theater. It's just they show a sign that says, "Hey, don't talk," and then if the people don't fight, they know it went well.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I
now
think
we're
if people
getting
are
into
talking,
we're getting into a discussion of generations and things like that. Like, damn well, like, you walk up to anyone
Yeah.
under 20 and tell them to shut up, they're just gonna get louder.
right? Yep.
Oh no, it was bizarre. Okay, so
Yeah.
tonight we don't need to go into too much detail about this, but like how there
here's
was.
the solution.
All right,
here's the
I won't go
solution.
into it.
Go straight to the solution.
We'll hear his solution instead.
This
It's
is
just-
the solution. So when people are talking in the movie theater and they won't shut up, you just replay that Nicole Kidman AMC ad over and over and over until they leave.
They already are, and it's not making them go anywhere.
Just on repeat.
There were people.
3.5
Boo when that
hours.
happens.
There were people trying to create a viral kind of moment. I think it's the only thing that made sense. Like the lava chicken, and then chicken jockey, and then
chicken
everyone
jockey.
started throwing popcorn and stuff around the theater. So when the first death happens in the movie, all these kids in the back of the theater started like standing up and laughing as hard as they could, and it was just really obnoxious. Yeah. And the entire theater got together. It was like all saying, "Shut up," all of them together, "Shut up." It was in unison, and of all ages, Moshko. This was a coalition of generations. This was wild. And I'm thinking here, like, I'm gonna love this theater. This is my theater. These are my people, right? Like, I was never prouder of my hometown theater than in that moment. And then none of them would shut up. Yeah, the same people who just told all those kids to shut up in the back, who, by the way, listened, because the dude next to Features got real loud. Yeah. But then the dude next to Features wouldn't shut up. I had a family, a mom and a son next to me, wouldn't shut up. There was a group of kids in front of us that you would think they were trying to remove the seats from the ground. They were laughing so hard and pulling the seats back and forth and trying to rock them. It was like everyone was in the theater more to impress the people they were with than to watch the movie. And I didn't pay for that.
Yeah.
And that's my point. And that's what's going to kill the theater faster than anything else, because the movies are so expensive. I will not put up with that kind of nonsense. And if you're not going to have an usher in there to keep the peace and make sure I get my money's worth, then I will just wait for it to show up on Netflix. You know what I mean? Like you're going to kill yourself by not keeping order.
So they brought the idea of impressing everyone from social media and brought it out into real life, and were trying to impress everybody around them.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
I hate social media. I hate it. If it
Seems
wasn't
like
for
it.
this show, I wouldn't be on it.
I'm not. I completely agree with you. I think it's funny if you look at all of our pages, it is just us sharing the show. No one shares anything. I gave poor Parker so much crap about his page being private, and my page might as well be private. I don't share anything outside of this show.
I am this close to getting one of those like dumb phones where
Oh.
nothing's on it.
Oh yeah,
Man.
Nokia brick phone.
Since I mentioned it, definitely head over to YouTube or if you hopefully it's on yours. It's just we did this more on YouTube, right? It's on a regular podcast feed. Yes, Mashko?
Oh yeah, I put
Oh,
it up
good.
there too.
Yeah, you probably noticed there was an extra issue today. You can head over to YouTube to actually watch the full interview. But we got a chance to sit down with Parker Newman, who of City of Demons. We've been trying to set that interview up for a while, and it was a pleasure having him. The story is really cool. It's a great book. Go check that out. Watch that, and then head over and give that book some support. Want to throw that out because we're also, I think we're moving on from Jurassic Park at this point. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're also going to get a chance to see, or at least two of us are going to get a chance to see Superman a little early this week. So because of that, we are going to have a third issue for you this week. And while last week we did say it was going to be Friday, this time it's actually going to be Thursday. Yes, Mashko?
Yeah.
So
fine.
Thursday you should expect a spoiler-free review, and then next week obviously we'll go into the spoilers.
Spoiler. Everybody else is doing spoiler. I do.
We'll do both.
We'll talk production
We'll do
later.
both. But I also want to.
right.
But the spoiler stuff is more fun when everybody sees it. No offense,
That's
features,
true.
but it's when we're all get a chance to.
I'm not seeing it, and I'm the guy putting it together. So
That's true.
You can
But you're
do
also not
spoilers,
there.
it's
You're
fine.
not there to talk to me about it. I don't care about
Superman,
spoiling it
can't
for
be
you.
that spoilery.
Right.
What? What do you mean? What?
You're a silly bitch. You.
Hi, I'm Superman. Here comes evil. Let me vanquish evil. End of
But
story.
there's a dog this time.
But there is a dog.
There is a dog.
Come on, man. That changes everything. All right. Speaking of changing everything, how did those last 3 episodes of Ironheart do for you guys? A lot of quiet people. Okay, let's round robin this before we get into the detail. Let's just real quick, just a sentence. What did you think of Ironheart as a whole? We'll start with features.
It was a good show.
Okay, Mashko.
It's a couple sentences, so hold on. I thought it was made very well. I thought the soundtrack audio was very nice. There was a Santa Gold
Yeah.
song in there. Like, who uses that? That's great. It was a remix, but whatever. The original song is a lot better. But once the red herring was out of the, once you saw Sacha Baron Cohen, I kind of like went, oh, okay.
Yeah, spoiler alert at this point. Might as well.
Yeah.
Man, your mic is funky today.
Yeah. It's spiking all over the place.
But once that happened, I guess I kind of dozed off and then didn't see the end of the last episode. I was like,
I mean, you
and I didn't go back to watch it, so that told me right there, like, whatever. Case in point, though, like I kind of fell asleep like halfway through maybe episode 4 or 5 of Squid Game, but I had to go back and watch that.
I have yet.
This
to watch
I didn't
that.
have to go back and watch.
Yeah.
I have yet to finish Squid Game.
the ending though.
I got one episode left of Squid Game.
I mean, I just keep hearing so many bad things about it.
Oh,
Squid Game. I'm hearing.
Yeah,
I'm not hearing anything good about it.
I think people are more pissed
What,
about
right?
the ending.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's exciting because I've been like,
Well,
I don't even.
Ironheart. The
Yeah.
first
back to
half,
Ironheart.
Yeah.
the first half was good. It was fun. The second half was a 3-hour Mephisto trailer. That's what it was.
Oh,
The
that's
second
right.
half
You did
was-
show up in the 4th. Did
You
show
saw
up
him in a
fourth?
spoon.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
saw him in a
That-
spoon.
That's what it was. It felt like the first half. If it was like 2 episodes longer, it would have been much better. But it should have stayed a movie.
All right. What are you thinking, Huey?
I'm with features. I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yep. It's
I-
middle of the
I
road.
do like middle of the road.
It's not great. It's not bad. It's a thing that happened. It had a really weak ending. Like the fact that she had a hologram that was pre-recorded means that at some point she was sitting there like pleading and like recording that, like as we've learned with holograms and Mysterio, how holograms work, that they're pre-recorded things. So
I get why they did the whole AI thing, but I still thought it was dumb.
the AI thing didn't bother me because I thought, and I thought it was kind of an interesting story about letting go, and that's kind of what I thought the point of it was, is that she had to accept that she lost her friend and that she was using this kind of as a crutch, but then it all of a sudden started developing its own feelings, and there's some very cool nuanced stuff to that story, but then when she kind of makes a deal with the devil, it kind of kills the whole idea. You know, they kind of wanded her where you watch an entire thing of her hopefully learning to let go to then undo everything the moment they introduce the next story, which would be Mephisto.
Right.
It's not a redemption story.
Not really. It doesn't at least doesn't feel that way. She gets darker. Kind of how you've got Wanda opening up the Darkhold.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas all that whole movie about whole show about accepting loss, all to be undone with the Darkhold, is now a whole show about accepting, you know, your circumstances and still having to do the right thing. Great power comes great responsibility. You know, get Riri with Peter, she'd learn a thing or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But instead, she goes Mephisto, and it felt weird because it could have been a strong moment of her rejecting the devil.
Yeah.
For anybody, I might as well say this. Most of you probably already know this. If you listen to the show, you already know that. But that's Mephisto. Mephisto is the devil of the Marvel Universe. They weren't allowed to use the devil, so they had to make up a character. But he quite literally is a red dude with horns, and he lives in a place like hell. And he's a what are they called? The hell the hell. What are they called? The 9 dimensions of hell thing. Hell Lord. He's a hell Lord.
And he looks kind of like the devil from South Park.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda. He's a little smaller. He's not as jacked.
Yeah.
But he very much, you do see him for a quick second in A Spoon, where you see the red on his face and you see his yellow eyes, but that's his whole thing, is he influences people to make the wrong decision, and the decision that they usually make comes with a caveat that it ruins whatever they were hoping for. So it's like the monkey's paw kind of deal, where you get your wish, but it comes with a horrible side effect.
Yeah.
So that's Mephisto. For anybody unaware, but I'm sure most of you all know that. But yeah, I love Mephisto-ish. I don't like Mephisto is wild to me that we care so much out of nowhere because of all of the potential teases in the last phase that people have him on your mind. But he's like Kang to me, and I didn't really care about him. And now that you guys also they mention him, it's like, oh no way, Mephisto. And it's like, why? Since when are we all like Mephisto crazy?
I don't think. Go ahead.
Who?
Go, Lance.
All right. I think we'll get a lot more of him in the Supernatural saga. I think he'll be a much bigger, more important character. This is just kind of introducing him, and it's like, hey, he's there, he's a character, and he's going to disappear for 4 movies.
And to add on to that, I don't think people are Mephisto crazy more so than like in the books he's not there a lot. His presence is felt more than he's actually there, and he is tied into a lot of different stories. And I think just having him in the MCU opens up those possibilities, also pertaining to things that have already happened. Like there was that one line he said, "Oh, I was busy. I've had a lot of clients that I'm working with." Or
I'm sure they're going to do the same thing that they did with the leader, and how, well, let's look back, and the leader was actually involved in every single thing that happened in the MCU. All decisions made was actually because of the influence of Mephisto. Here's our evidence in here. If you look at this one single frame from this one single, no, stop. Everybody stop it before you start.
Mephisto's the new power broker.
I mean,
hey, hopefully not. The power broker got shuffled aside way too quickly. I'm expecting to see some more of Mephisto because you know, Borat kind of rocked it.
He did.
I mean, I kind of loved his Mephisto. His take on Mephisto was great.
In general, like everything he does is great.
I would say that the use of all those different accents, like, it stunned me at first, but I was like, you know what, this kind of makes sense. He should be able to talk in a lot of different ways to be able to influence people.
Mm-hmm.
So
to adapt.
And it was just it was a cool little nuance to him.
He's good at code switching.
Well, and that one, he was just obviously trying to show off when she started naming names like Dormammu.
Yeah.
Like it got to a point where he was just like, I don't think you realize who you're talking to. And I like that about him. I really do think Mephisto, not only was Mephisto we all knew it was coming, but it was still a great scene. It was a pleasant surprise. I still don't think she should have shook his hand, but it is what it is. The Hood's final scene, The final fight scene with Riri and the Hood was phenomenal. Like when he actually got the demon form and his hands started getting crazy and he was ripping at her, like he got, like I thought the Hood was kind of wasted.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, another character I could give a crap about. So they could have revamped him in any which way they wanted to, but they didn't. From what I understand, it's, who he was early on is different, but who he became seems pretty spot on, especially with how he was portrayed in that demon-esque form by the end. I really loved that when he pulled out the two guns and he was like, well, I guess it's a fight then. And then all of a sudden his face starts getting just more morbid as the fight went on. I thought that was a beautiful scene. I just thought the whole
accurate,
the rush to magic, and the rush to Mephisto, the way they wrapped that up, because he was putting boots to ass, man. The Hood was. I did not expect Riri to get smacked around as badly as she did, because if it wasn't for that stupid AI, I guess it wasn't AI, that nonsense hologram, he was going to rip her head off.
Right.
I was kind of shocked there. I was like, he's way tougher than I thought this would be. But
yeah, it's a good fight. It was a really good fight. And that's what I actually think the last 3 episodes were stronger than the first 3, but I don't think any of them were that great.
Yeah, like you said, not exceptional, but I think just a solid show.
Fun show.
Yeah, and that's all it really needed to be. And I definitely didn't deserve the review bombing.
It is better. No. It's better than Echo. It's better than She-Hulk.
Yes.
It's better than Thor 5 or Thor 4.
I like She-Hulk.
I didn't think She-Hulk's bad either, but it's just the same rules apply with She-Hulk. You know what I mean? Like She-Hulk's not the worst show ever, but this is better than She-Hulk. I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed She-Hulk.
Yeah, okay. I would say She-Hulk was better than this show.
Why?
But it was just more fun to watch. I was more engaged. I just didn't I would rewatch She-Hulk. I don't feel like I would rewatch this show.
Yeah, there were aspects of this I will rewatch, but I'll never rewatch She-Hulk, because She-Hulk is just a lot of bad jokes that don't land very well and with lackluster fight scenes. Like, it's not.
Have you read a She-Hulk comic?
Yeah. Well, have you listened to this show? I think I've been the biggest defender of the She-Hulk show on this show, because it is exactly like the comics. But I don't read She-Hulk books.
Yeah.
And that's the point. The MCU should get to a point where it makes things for very specialized audiences. And when it started doing that, people on the internet decided that everything was supposed to be for them, and then got on their high horses about how bad the show was. The show wasn't great. Doesn't make it not great for who it's for. For who it's for, loved it. I was not one of those people. I loved Eternals. I don't think Eternals is nearly as bad as everyone makes it out to be. I think it's a lot more nuanced, and I love the fact that there's no villain of that movie. But it's okay. Not everyone's gonna like it. Yeah. That's kind of the point. Yeah, so don't give me your shit about read a She-Hulk comic. All right, let's move on from bad MCU shows, Lance, and let's talk about bad Star Wars shows. So Obi-Wan Kenobi seems like it's going to be getting a season 2, and wow, 3 years later, they're not doing well if they're pulling this one out.
Who asked for this?
I mean,
I would have
definitely
loved it.
we did ask for it, but
3 years ago.
Right. Other than that, like after the first season, I'm thinking like you kind of ruined the only chance you had at a good season, because it's not like he's just going to leave Tatooine again.
Right.
Right.
Like, I don't know what the show. There was a whole comic series about this, and there was a lot of stuff to do with Black Chrysanthemum and him like fighting sand people to stay in shape. You know what I mean? Like there was a whole thing he did. There's a whole line of comics that they could adapt if they wanted to keep it going, and they'll probably do a lot more Clone Wars flashbacks. But like, I can't see Obi-Wan leaving Tatooine. If he leaves a second time, he's not a really good keeper of the watch. You know what I mean?
When they're done with this show, he's gonna look like Alec Guinness.
Well, that's fair. I think we should get to that point. I think that's but I think they should have. Was it Colin Trevorrow? Is that the person who wrote the original script? Look that up for me, Huey. The original script for what the show became was a trilogy of movies that we only got the first script and a treatment for the second one, and they sounded amazing. And so many aspects of that made it into the Obi-Wan show. Like Reva is a character from that original story. She just wasn't a Jedi who knew who Anakin was. She learns that through Obi-Wan, and when she learns that, she turns to the light side, and that's where she tries to stop Vader, and she actually dies in that moment. And like there's a much better story in there that has Captain Cody is the one who is staying with Luke while while Obi-Wan is trying to save Leia, which is, I love that. I think if there was anybody that he would trust with looking after Luke, it would be Captain Cody. And I love that Cody is trying to make up for the chip and in Order 66. Like, there were a lot of really cool elements of that script that we will just never see. And I don't even think you can do more of them in season 2. Because of, I mean, there apparently the second treatment was actually a lot like the Acolyte to a degree. I should say a lot like. There were witches, Force witches,
Okay.
who learned to use the Force in a different way. Right? Sounds like they pulled that right from and then adapted that into the Acolyte script. I don't know, we don't know what that actual treatment was supposed to look like, but Obi-Wan was supposed to come across these witches in the deserts of Tatooine who I bet you they called it the thread too. I bet you in that original treatment it's the thread. But I don't know if it's salvageable. I do think the Clone Wars flashbacks are enough to keep people in and get people excited, but I don't know if the actual story of Obi-Wan anymore is salvageable because of that first season.
Yeah.
I'll watch
Stuart Beadle was the first writer for the movie.
Stuart Beadle? Well, was it who? Check Colin Trevorrow. I think that's who it was.
Or is that the guy that made that version of the first season?
No, it wasn't until it was Dave Filoni is the person who turned it into a TV show, and that's who actually added all of the Inquisitors and a lot of the references to his work. I mean, Filoni has a habit of doing that. If Filoni's in charge of it at all or has input, you're going to start to see Rebels and Clone Wars characters show up somewhere. There's going to be references. There's going to be as much as possible because that's his world. It's what he knows. Yeah. So I can't say that I blame him, but that's why all the Inquisitors showed up. That's why you had the Grand Inquisitor had a big role, and the Eighth Brother and all that stuff. So that was all because of that script turning into a Disney Plus show.
Right.
Which again, I will 100% watch it. Like Lance said, I can't say I'm stoked.
Yeah, it would probably be I'd appointment viewing for the first episode. I'm not sure about the rest of the series.
Well, I would say the one thing I would hate that they don't include if they decide not to would be Qui-Gon, because we did leave off with the Force Ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn. And
Liam Neeson said no.
Yeah,
Liam Neeson said he's never coming back to Star Wars because they're doing TV shows, and that's the only way they would bring him back. And he sees himself too much as a movie star to do such a thing.
And he's doing Naked Gun now.
I'm not even making that up. That's like
I have a special set of skills.
Wow.
I don't play well with others.
I see myself as a movie star. He said something along those lines.
I'm so excited to see him in the
He'll
Naked
regret
Gun.
that.
in the long run, probably.
Yeah, well, Harrison Ford's all over TV now, and he has a bigger career now, possibly, than he did, 20 years ago.
Well, and Disney's
I'm
got
not talking
Disney money.
indie, but 20 years ago.
It's interesting, though, like the idea of Qui-Gon's Force Ghost does change everything quite a bit because, that was kind of the whole thing about Qui-Gon not really being able to do that. He didn't truly learn it. He kind of figures that out with Yoda, and Yoda kind of helps Obi-Wan. Or not Yoda. Is it Yoda? Yeah, no, it is Yoda.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Qui-Gon? But he's really just kind of a ghostly voice. So the fact that he shows up changes a lot of things. So you could have, there's a lot of fun that could be had. I will 100%. But it just feels like a cash grab. It just feels like they were losing steam, and people are wary of Mandalorian and Grogu. And it's like, well, if we do a Obi season 2, everyone's going to get excited again. More Hayden, more Ewan, people are going to get excited. It's going to be a win because of marketing.
We got to get Hayden Christensen off those Monopoly Go commercials. That's
you know what? Let that man make some money. They're terrible commercials, but you know what, Hayden? Do as many as you ride this train, brother. It's been a while, and I feel like you should do as many crap commercials as humanly possible. You know what I mean? Because God forbid they stop doing these. Like, if they ever move on from Vader, he needs these moments. We need to get. That's what we need. We need to get Hayden Christensen into something other than Vader. that's where he needs to go. Yeah. Get him a new franchise role somewhere.
But what would it be?
I don't know. Put him in the DC universe. Get him. Somewhere.
Put him in Jurassic Park.
No, no. Actually, do a good Jurassic Park movie. Good relative.
You know, one thing that wasn't said about Jurassic World, Rebirth, whatever. I
Oscar's
almost said
pissed.
something else, but I'm not going to do that. It made $324 million. Like, was it not the biggest opening of a Jurassic show movie?
Huey.
I don't know those facts, but
Beats me.
that's
I
a
mean,
huge opening
Isn't
for a
it
movie.
scaled though?
What did I tell you about cars and dinosaurs? I told you this already. There's a reason that people will see these shit franchises for till the end of time, and it's because we loved one or the other growing up. I was a dinosaur kid. Huey, dinosaur car kid.
Dinosaurs.
What were you, Lance?
Dinosaur car.
Mashko?
Dinosaur car.
Hell
hey,
yeah!
Hey, man.
There's like a Stegosaurus
Dinosaur
and it had the
car.
spikes on the roof.
What was the show?
Vehicles.
Yeah, see, absolutely. Features?
Yeah, a little bit both.
You know,
dinosaurs
things that
and
are
cars.
real.
Things that are real. Oh no. Oh no, dinosaurs weren't real.
Well, they're not real now. That's what I mean.
But cars can't drive into space, Mashko. Like, don't
The
talk
hell
about
they
real.
can't.
Oh, wait.
Don't talk about.
Oh wait,
real.
they can.
No, they could get left in space. So we found that out with Tesla, but that doesn't mean they could launch into space.
Wow.
Don't tell me what I.
Oh, they can launch.
All right.
Anyway, speaking of cars,
domestic-
F1, go
oh.
see it. Great
Yeah.
movie, best of the year.
Yeah.
As
So
of now.
domestically, Jurassic, the new Jurassic World. What we got here? We got 318. Jurassic World had 208. Fallen Kingdom 148. Dominion 145.
So aren't those just the
Those words mean
adjustment in
nothing to
price
me.
of tickets? Like the first one, tickets were like $12. Second one, tickets were like $16.
We don't count
Third one-
inflation here.
Well, they
Don't count
usually
inflation.
those websites usually account for that. All right, it doesn't matter. It's Scarlett Johansson is now the highest grossing actress of all time because she was in some Marvel movies. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
these stories are stories. Don't get me wrong; they're not. It's not that they're not stories, but the reason she's the highest paid actress is because she played Black Widow in the MCU, and then learned how to negotiate her contract better and better and better every single movie. Remember Age of Ultron when they almost all dropped
Yep.
Yep.
until they got much better back end deals?
Yeah.
Just saying. Scarlett Johansson knows how to play the game. She played it really well. And she should be very proud of the fact that she is the highest grossing actress. But let's not act like it's Jurassic World's doing. Like that had nothing to do with it.
I mean, it did kick the door down.
It did. It allowed us to talk about it.
Yeah.
But it,
Lance, did you watch any of Sandman 2? Or
I
Sandman
did. I
Season
watched
2?
the entire first arc.
I know it's not on our itinerary, but
Yeah.
okay.
I enjoyed it. I'm happy with it. I'm excited to see the next arc that comes out on the 24th, and then that's it.
Good.
So is it something that people should
So if you've
watch,
been watching
or-
it, you
Yes.
should watch it.
Yes, continue watching it because it's more of the same from the first season. If you enjoyed the first season,
So
you're gonna
Moscow's
like
out.
it. What?
Moscow was
Nah.
done the first season, first episode,
It's like,
like
first
5
10
minutes.
minutes.
In it. Yeah.
Like, what is this bullshit?
You just got to let the characters breathe, and once you under
In that
you know,
bubble for it's 45
Right.
minutes.
Yeah.
the second it does move faster in the second season, part one.
Okay.
It's really funny to say. It moves a lot faster in the second season, part one. Doesn't really help what you just said.
I'm starting to come to the conclusion that I don't like this stuff anymore.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good.
Man.
Well, here's one you probably won't like either. The DCU apparently is working on a new show that hasn't been announced that I think could be interesting.
I'm
Maybe.
in with who's supposedly starring in it.
So we might have a
Watch her
Huntress
paint a
show.
room.
Who is it?
What?
We might have a Huntress show in the works.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wait, which Huntress though?
Original
Like
Huntress.
Helena Wayne or
No.
Helena Bertinelli?
Bertinelli.
Okay,
Yeah, Bertinelli.
Valerie?
because Crisis changed everything.
Well, no, it's going to be the mob boss's daughter because that's the if you're gonna focus on her as a character, that's the more nuanced story.
Yeah.
Okay,
And her being the sole survivor of a mob family, going out for vengeance, eventually becoming. I mean, it's Arrow.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's it's Arrow with Huntress. It's Arrow with a crossbow. with Mantis.
Yeah.
It's Mantis.
Who's-
Mantis with a crossbow.
Oh right, man. The actress.
Oh, what do you say?
Pom Klementieff.
That's it. Mantis.
I like it.
Good old Pom.
The character doesn't take itself too seriously, so
Well, wait, I think
like-
this is a show that could. I mean, there's a lot of directions you can go with this. Like they went real goofy in Birds of Prey. I think they shouldn't. I think they should go darker like they did Arrow, because this is a character that lends itself very well to that motif. I think a dark Gotham vigilante, you failed this city kind of story, I'm all about. And I think they could take the roadmap of Arrow and build a really nice, HBO Max universe like they're doing with Disney Plus of more street level characters in a very similar fashion. And this is a decent character to start with.
we're making these grandiose plans for this DC universe, and we have not seen one thing from it.
Well,
so
we
far.
saw Creature Commandos
Yeah,
And
and that was good.
and most of
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker
Yeah,
and probably the Suicide Squad. Something tells me. Well, no, if most of Peacemaker is Suicide Squad, has to be.
yeah,
They reference each other.
yeah.
So it's really just the one episode. So yeah, you've
But that
seen
was
actually
all-
a lot of the DCU.
Well, at the time this comes out, you will have seen it.
That's
right.
true.
Yeah,
You will know.
That's true.
That's true. Well, I will.
I'm excited, but I'm cautious
One of
about a
the
lot of this.
one of the earlier reviews that shouldn't have actually been put out, but Daily Beast is a wonderful, wonderful publication.
Right.
They forgot that there was an embargo and it got posted. And
They forgot.
Ooh.
They
Yeah.
forgot there was
There's-
an embargo.
yeah,
Like they
they
haven't been in
forgot.
this world for a long time.
But did they?
I mean, what's the benefit of it? They took it down immediately, so it's not like it's still
5
up.
minutes it was up total time.
Yeah, I think they're whoever was publishing it to the site just didn't get their times right or whatever, but it went up. People saw it. People didn't like
Yep.
what it had to say.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of mixed reviews. Apparently, a lot of the reports are like a few people like vehemently hated it. A lot of people. There are some people that are saying it's phenomenal. It's everything that you want. And there are some people who are saying that it's just too silly to take serious.
It's Superman.
I mean,
like, are you,
right,
should you
Right,
take
go
it?
watch Man of Steel.
Well, this is one of those. This is one of those times where I think that people are going to get what they want and realize it's not what they wanted. It's going to be probably a super comic accurate show, and people are going to realize there's a reason the MCU wasn't always so comic accurate in the first phase.
Yeah.
They made genre stories with superheroes in them. They didn't make superhero stories. Now,
That's-
audiences might be primed and ready for this kind of thing. I know us as comic book fans, we're going to love it. I have a feeling, regardless on what my criticisms of it being a movie, as a comic fan, I'm probably going to love it. And the fact that it's crypto, like this movie's got a lot going for it for me. It's just on nostalgia and just on, love of the Superman world, less about how great of a film it is. Like I'm not going in for absolute cinema. I'm going in for Superman.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's the difference. There are people who now see these as movies and not just comic book fans. You get what I'm saying? Like we're going to get to that tipping point where they become separate again.
So if it's like that, do you think these critics are giving it like a fair shake when it comes to the reviews? Really, if like they're just looking at it as a movie and not specifically for its genre?
But
what
that's
it
as
is.
but that's
I would say 80% of them are agenda driven anyway, so it doesn't matter whether or not they actually like it or not. They're going to move to the direction that's going to most benefit them as opposed to actually telling the truth.
100%.
that's probably true.
Yeah.
That's probably true. And I would also say that it doesn't help or hurt. It definitely helps them to say that they like stuff, but it doesn't help or hurt them to be specific about what genres they're okay with. So it's not like a reviewer is just going to trash things because it's a horror movie. He might tend to hate horror movies and have negative reviews of them, but it's not like he's going out to trash horror movies. So while that's what I'm saying, that there's going to be this divide, we've had a very long time of us kind of forgiving superhero stories because we like the genres that they were in and the uniqueness of the connected story. And I think we have gotten to a point where we are way more nitpicky and we are way more, we're more aware of error in superhero stories than we ever have been, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fatigue, if you want to use that. But they've become so commonplace that it's less about excitement and more like, give me a reason to like you. It feels like that's how people go into a lot of projects, especially critics. Critics go into a movie like, make me like you. We're going into it stoked because it's Superman. And that's the difference of the audience versus a critic and those who are just moviegoers. Your average audience is going to want to be blown away, and they're not going to, our excitement isn't going to carry them through it anymore like it did for the last 15 years.
Right.
Okay.
And it's going to be someone's first Superman movie. And I'm excited for this. If it's silly and fun and whimsical, I'm excited for that to be someone's first Superman movie.
Oh, we haven't had a fun, serious, whimsical, serious, but we haven't had a whimsical Superman ever.
Yeah.
Right.
Christopher Reeves was close, but
Yeah.
when he threw the cellophane logo at somebody, I mean, that was pretty whimsical.
Oh man, I think people are just being way too critical of it. Superman should be fun. I know the character itself, comes off very much like the Big Blue Boy Scout, but that doesn't mean Superman is without humor or things that would draw you to him as a person. But
Well, I mean, anybody who just watched Man of Steel doesn't agree with you. If they just watched the Snyder World, they don't agree with you. And if they grew up on the Snyder World, they don't agree with you. But anybody who watched the Superman animated series, who watched the Tyler Hitch I can't say dude's name. Hoechlin. One of, if not the best Superman. Taylor, that guy. Superman and Lois is the dad energy when I think of Superman, I think of the ultimate dad.
Goated.
And I think that show
Superman
nailed it.
yeah,
It did.
Yeah.
And that's actually why I also love that Superman little snippet that they showed of just David Cornsweet on set with all the kids.
yeah, that was so awesome.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of that's who this is for. And I think a lot of times that's forgot because they were used to Henry Cavill. And Henry Cavill, I think, still is the best looking Superman of all. He doesn't have the best representation. Great movie. Really liked Man of Steel, but it's not the best representation of Superman, in my opinion, if you're a longtime Superman fan.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's the difference between dad and daddy.
They're trying to.
I almost want to stop the show after that one. That was so good. Pedro Pascal pops in. Hey, what?
Jeez.
That guy's getting overexposed right now.
I don't like you bringing up exposed.
He's not going away.
All right, let's move over to our comic reviews.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
This was an interesting week. There was some fun stuff. There was some
Comics.
There was all right. Well, let's start with the one that I think I'm the most excited to talk about, which is Captain America #1.
It's good.
Yeah.
I really, really liked it. I thought I was going to hate it because Mike at the Comic Universe tends to read everything before any of us because he reads them Monday and tells us what's
He
great.
lives there.
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly. So he hated it. He was not a big fan of it at all. And
What?
I thought it was really, really, really well done. I love.
What didn't he like about it?
He didn't go into detail because he didn't want to spoil anything. I don't think he likes the direction of coming up with another Captain America. So spoiler alert, big old spoiler alert for this point. But Captain America #1. Go ahead, Lance.
Isn't this like the 22nd Captain America? Like,
Well, we don't really know anything about him yet. So for anybody who didn't read the issue and wants to keep up with what we're talking about, the story takes place shortly after he's no longer frozen in ice. So this isn't in standard continuity. This is a little out there.
when is it?
Yeah, they
Sorry.
ask him to join the Avengers, and he says no. He says he's not prepared for that. So this is a period after he's out of the ice, but not actually Captain America yet.
It's right for 9/11.
Yeah, right. That's another interesting aspect of the story is that this new Captain America is coming up in a world post 9/11 and is going through a very similar story, just modern. So he's beat up. He's asthmatic. He has everybody. He's getting it just as bad as Steve got, if not even worse. Like when the drill sergeant pulls him out for reading too late at night.
Yeah, that was
and just
crazy.
beats the piss out of him. But again, he's very much Captain America. He's not going to stand down. He doesn't have it in him. And it seems like they offer him the super soldier serum.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
necessarily say it, but it seems like they do. And then late at the end, we get the silhouette kind of a Captain America with red hair. And they've really been, this kid was in more of the story than Steve was.
Yeah, David Colton, I believe
Yeah.
is the character.
Colton. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Steve stuff is great. Don't get me wrong. I love Steve meeting the superheroes. Like, I love him meeting the Fantastic Four, and the fact that Reed carries around a Captain
Oh my
America
God.
toy in his pocket
Yeah.
because he just looks up
Reed-
to his leadership.
He was kind of the worst in that book, though. Reed
Who?
Richards.
How so?
He was just kind of he had tool energy.
Well, but wouldn't he at that time? I mean, this is
Have you
Yeah,
read
this
any
is the
Fantastic
heyday
Four
of the
books?
Fantastic Four. Right. This is the Fantastic Four before the Avengers. Like, this is they are the head honchos.
Yeah.
So he would be a little douchey. But I love the respect that they gave him and how obviously that's going to play a role into Steve, because Steve's now having a hard time of being a legend. So
Right.
he's
Yeah.
now in this world where everybody looks up to him as this kind of godly figure of the past, and that he doesn't know if he can live up to those expectations and if he's going to let down the Stars and Stripes. That's a whole big aspect to his story. But they've set up a really cool story that I want to know more about. I want to know more about Colton. I want to know more about how those two are going to merge with a new up and coming Cap meeting a Cap who's not really prepared to be Cap. So I don't know. It's a really great start. I think
It's a cool dynamic.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. So it was my favorite book. I don't think that's
I just want to know:
shocking.
is this the new retconned history for him, or is this going to be?
It'll be.
I'm hearing it is. That's what I'm hearing. It's new.
Well, I don't think it's a retcon. I just don't think I don't think Colton will be around that long.
Yeah.
We don't know enough about him. I think he's going to be a John Walker.
That's what I was thinking. Which
He's going to become the bully. Well,
Right.
think of, okay. So look at all the at least how I'm reading it.
Uh-huh.
How many stories of like the picked on, right? All of the kids, all the emo kids who got bullied, who then became scenesters and like, you're not allowed to hang out with us. You don't know this band, who then just become the bullies of a different scene. That's kind of how I see this character going, because they put such a big aspect to how badly he was beaten and unable to stand up and fight back, even though that's all he wanted to do and how much he hates them. Right. I think that hate is going to take him over, and that we will start to see another kind of John Walker given the serum, but not the best person for the job. And I kind of like that. I think giving him a failed Robin, like a Jason Todd,
Yeah.
kind of cool, man. I think there's a lot you could do with that.
I'm getting number 2.
Oh no!
For sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No question. This is an easy. I was in this for a while anyway.
Yeah.
Steve books.
You hated the last book so much, so
The Sam Wilson
Sam,
book.
yeah.
The Sam
Well-
Wilson book's rough.
Yeah, we don't even want to talk about Sam Wilson books. I'm disappointed.
But like Steve books always have one line that just make you go, ooh. Like when he said, what was the line? If you're depressed, you're spending too much time in the past. If you're anxious, you're spending too much time in the future. It's hard. It's hard to enjoy, or it's hard to enjoy the present without being present, or something. I forget how the actual line goes, but there's always one line that makes you just freeze for a second. Like that was like, I'm gonna write that down somewhere else. I'm taking that with me. So cat books do that. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about one book I have a feeling that's going to be divisive, but I enjoyed quite a bit, which was Absolute Green Lantern.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What did we think of Absolute Green Lantern? I thought that was an interesting way to move the story along.
Yeah.
I still think that book is phenomenal. I love all the twists and changes that they've done, or enhancements to certain characters. I just want to read. I just want this book to come out faster.
Right. Yeah.
That's the main thing. I wanted to come out faster because it's that good. Like
It's
go ahead.
fun. It's super fun, and it keeps you guessing. And the art is so cool. In like that splash panel when she's like going through the translucentness.
Yeah.
And it's just the coolest looking art spot there. It's horror, it's dark, it's awesome.
Yeah, even the way she gets the Green Lantern power was kind of cool. Like, there's no actual Green Lantern ring that we know of right now.
Yeah.
It's like she absorbed the power and her wedding ring
Well,
just
who had the power of the green flame?
Abin Sur.
Yeah. No?
Well, the green flame is way older than the green flame is older than the Green Lantern Corps. Alan Scott, that's what powered him.
Okay.
So this is their way of kind of merging the Alan Scott version of Green Lantern in with them, is that they literally are filled with the green flame. And that's kind of a cool way to do it. I think that's a nice aspect of that. The ring itself is essentially created on you based around what you're wearing because of your connection to the green flame.
Yeah.
Kind of, it's unique. And we kind of see that same thing with the hand, with the black hand as well. That same kind of power and the way it takes you over. I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know about the Hector Hammond thing at the end. We'll see how that brings in. It's a villain I don't really care about much.
Spoiler alert, right?
Yeah. Well, I thought, definitely. Just assume spoiler alert when we bring up comics.
Right.
It's probably the smartest move.
So when she deactivates, sorry to cut you off, but when she deactivates that barrier, and was it the lantern or just the giant thing holding the barrier up just crashes to Earth and crushes a small town?
Yeah, it seems like that whatever. Yeah. But is that a barrier? Or is that a ship?
I think that was his ship.
That's his ship.
That was a ship. So
I think Abin Sur got killed, and that connection once he died, that killed the ship.
Yeah.
And that could be something that they're tying into with the Green Lantern cartoon. What was her name? AVA.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ava.
Who was the sentient power of the ship, the brain power of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
They could be connecting that a little bit more, that there is this sentient aspect of the ship that's connected to its host. I mean, hell, he could be creating that as a construct. I guess not, because it would have gone with him when the barrier went. I don't know. Anyway, you cut it. I'm intrigued and I'm interested. It's still a great book. I know people don't like it as much as the rest of the Absolutes, but I think it's...
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
it's my top
It's one
book.
of the best. Yeah, a lot of people aren't as keen on this or Flash. They're not as big as Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman have been, which I get it to some degree. You have to be a much bigger fan to appreciate those books, because if you're not, like the Hector Hammond thing, I feel like if you're not a Green Lantern fan, you feel like me reading every G.I. Joe or Transformers book when I get to that final page, like, the hell is this? Huey or Moshko, someone tell me why I need to care.
Right.
And the Flash and the Green Lantern have a habit of doing that.
This is my top spot. These Lantern and Superman are the only ones I'm still reading.
Oh, wow.
I'll read the trades later, but it's
you're reading all new Venom and you dropped the other Absolutes?
Wow.
I made it my seventh book.
30,000 people agree with us. You should not be reading that book.
To be fair, I am out on it. I tried really hard to read this week, and it was... Yeah, I'm done. But it was my seventh book. You said if I could pick 6, would it be one of them? And I said no. And I picked 7.
All right, so so you're now on team drop Venom.
Yeah, I mean, everyone should drop that book.
Yeah. All right, you can stay on the show then.
Yeah, that was it amazed me how badly people hated Venom when it was the best post we've done in a long time.
Right.
I was shocked that people's distaste for Mary Jane Venom had got us another, 25 followers. So thanks, 30,000 people who hated Venom. All right. Well, what about Ultimate Wolverine? Ultimate Wolverine. Ultimate Wolverine 7.
Still great.
Yeah.
Still great. It's cooking, man.
It's the number one
I didn't
spot.
read it.
It's the number one spot for Ultimate.
Yeah.
It's funny. Mike, when I picked this up, Mike at the comic book store says, he goes, this is the woe is me Wolverine issue. He did not like this.
Why? I thought it was great. I love the little back and forth between Sabretooth and him.
Yeah.
Oh, I do too. I enjoyed this issue.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. It's very much a setup issue.
Yeah, and it was cool.
Yes,
now finally has his code name. That was
It felt like Han Solo. It very much felt like Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was the Red Guardian gave it to him of all people.
Right. Shalakalov, whatever the word was.
Yeah. No, thank you.
I love the look for Beast in this comic now.
Yeah.
The new look. Even Guardian's costume is neat.
This is a
all
good
black
place
with
to
the
jump
star.
on. If you haven't been reading Ultimate Wolverine, this is a good place to start because it's definitely the beginning of the next arc. Like the
Yes.
whole first 6 issues were about him dealing with the fact that he was the Winter Soldier and not having his memories. Now it's Logan.
Yeah.
So if this is not a bad spot. If you didn't give it a chance before, but you can't, you're upset at yourself, kicking yourself because you hear us gushing each week. This is a good time.
Yeah.
Quick question, and remind me if you can recall this. So the Ultimates series, or is it the book or all the Ultimates that are ending at issue 24?
Apparently, all of them are ending, but we'll see. Because it's
So is it when Ultimates hits 24, all of them end, or is Ultimate Wolverine going to get 24 issues?
I think when Ultimates hits 24, because that's going to lead into when timeline wise, that's when the Maker's going to escape. So that will be the big probably crossover and all that. So they'll probably end everything, start everything with the brand new number ones.
You know, remember when the only example I can think of is the worst one possible. Remember when ICP came out with their last album and said they were done? It was going to be the destruction of the world, and then they came out with another album. The same thing's going to happen with the Ultimates. Like they're going to say, there's no way that they cancel this series of books. It's making way too much money in comparison to all of the other Marvel books. Like Huey, if you can look up the look up the recent sales for Marvel and tell me how top the Ultimate books are, because it does not seem to me that they would just kill off a cash cow.
Yeah, keep it.
Oh,
short
they're not
and
going to
sweet.
kill it off. They're
No,
definitely
You
not.
know.
They're not ending this universe. There's no way.
Yeah.
You know,
No, they're just gonna
either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a bad comic book.
Yeah, but remember how long the Ultimates took to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ultimate Universe
They're gonna-
was around for quite a while.
No, they're going to have when Ultimates hits 24, issue 25 will probably be the big crossover with Maker escaping.
Mm.
All the books will end, but they'll relaunch with number ones.
Yeah, and instead of Spider-Man, it'll be Ultimate Venom, and it'll follow his son. Instead of
something like that, right?
It won't be Ultimate Wolverine. It'll be Ultimate Logan.
Ultimate Logan.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Ultimate X-Force. That's how they'll keep it going. Then we'll get Ultimate Avengers instead of the Ultimates.
Yeah.
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 There's just
just
too
gonna
much
be a
money.
change.
Yeah, there's too much money and there's too much story. And honestly, if you guys, Hickman does a really good job of setting up a beginning, a middle, and an end. Let the man cook.
Please.
Don't end things before he decides they should be ended. And then if he ends it and you come up with a reason to keep it going, that's fine. That's fine. But don't Krakoa the Ultimate Universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, please don't. Jeez.
Speaking of which, how was the Hellfire Gala?
Oh my god. The Hellfire Vigil. It was pretty bad. It was so it's a party where it's just showing off all of the different Marvel characters, and that's pretty much all it's doing. It's written by 12 different authors, and it feels like it because it kind of bounces around to different characters. Storm gets a really cool spot. That part was awesome. But Cyclops sucks so hard.
I just don't understand who these are written for, because at least with the Godzilla books, people will pay to see Godzilla turn into a symbiote. People will pay to see Godzilla become a Hulk. Regardless on if the story's trash, that one splash page is enough for people to pay. Are people really just paying to see the X-Men in snazzy outfits?
No, it was a concert. There was a Dazzler concert in Chicago and also a nightclub in New York at the same time.
Yeah, it was a mutant cookout. That's all.
That's what it was. Yeah,
Like, no, for real. Like,
100%.
The craziest part was I picked it up and I started reading, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? Yeah, that didn't get more than 5 pages for me, and I'm sorry.
I thumbed through most of it because I didn't care about 85% of the characters they spotlight.
Yeah.
But the Storm part was cool. Getting to see that kind of tie into the Storm book and her new god beingness was cool. But yeah, it's two pages out of 45 that are worth it.
No, thank you. All right, I got 2 more books, and then you guys can go. One,
Bye.
Kong versus Godzilla versus the Justice League issue 2.
Justice League
Still
versus
good?
Killer Croc versus Kong.
It was fun. It's way better than the Marvel books.
I bet. At least
You
they
know,
give it
it's
a
still
story.
it has a story behind it. It's not the greatest story, but you know, it definitely is. Killer Croc fights King Kong, and King Kong beats the piss out of him.
And
Kills him.
the Legion.
Just kills him. Just
Yeah.
crushes his face.
Oh,
And then they just look at him.
Yeah, they're just
They're
like,
he's dead.
No, well, the funniest is the Flash is like, we didn't do anything, and then Batman's like, dude, we tried to intervene. What were we gonna do? Like, what did you think was gonna happen, man?
And then you got the Legion of Doom. I mean, Suicide Squad. I mean, X-Force.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's still better. You could have ended this at the first one, so this is obviously a cash grab of them going into the Hollow Earth. But for what it is, whatever. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. Jedi Knight was pretty good this week. If you guys have been following that, that's been just the anthology, old school, Old Republic, not Old Republic, New Republic, not Old Republic. Yeah,
High
New
Republic?
Republic. No, New Republic. New Republic was the prequels, right?
Right.
High Republic.
Yeah.
No, High Republic is older than that. High Republic is way before. That's High Republic is Acolyte era. It's like 100 years prior to all that.
So then, yeah, that would be New Republic.
No, is it the New Republic? What's going on now? I don't remember. Whatever.
Oh,
the
boy.
prequel
It's a
era.
Republic.
It's the prequel era. But this one was all about Yaddle and Dooku, which was interesting. So for anybody who's watched Tales of the Jedi, and we see that what actually happens to Yaddle. If anybody doesn't know who Yaddle is, it's the other Yoda-esque creature on the council that we see in Phantom Menace for one quick shot. There's also a second Yoda that nobody ever explains.
Yeah.
Yaddle does some pretty cool stuff in Legends and saves a lot of the younglings and stuff during Order 66. But in the new Disney era, Dooku kills Yaddle in Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah.
This is the precursor to that story and how Yaddle saves Dooku before that ever happens.
Oh.
So Yaddle, it's like gets this kind of like the Force is telling her she kind of has to save him, even though it's gonna lead to her death. So it's interesting how they're going about it. The rest of them haven't really been, pick up the next issue to see what else is happening. So I guess I'll keep reading it. I'm interested to see where that goes. The other ones have been about like Qui-Gon and young Obi-Wan and stuff like that, and they've been okay. But this was good. It was fun. I'm out.
Nice.
What'd you guys read?
I got the Immortal Thor, number 25. It's the final issue of this run, and
It's a good run.
yeah, he's dead. He's super dead.
Super good.
In fact, there's a part in where he's in like the hell of being dead.
Wait,
and
he
he's
didn't
fighting.
even go to Valhalla?
No.
Damn.
So like he's in this like middle area, and someone's like, "It's my life's work to go and kill you," and he says something like, "I know you're dead, but I'm gonna make you deader." And
Somebody
it
actually
just-
wrote that.
somebody actually wrote that.
That's a shame
And,
because that arc is really, really good in the beginning. I gave up right after the Rock Song comic, but I was reading a lot, like the Unrog Thor, Unrog, or whatever the Unrog Loki, Unrog.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
the ruined.
the Rune God Thor, whatever the hell it was. I forget.
Shadow Asgard.
Yeah, exactly. But they pulled a lot of actual Norse mythology in that arc. There was a lot of really cool things that I only knew about because of the Neil Gaiman Norse mythology book. That they go through a lot of the stories he has in that as Thor stories. And I thought
This
that
has
was,
a lot of that.
yeah, really, really cool stuff, and the way it connects to Gaia, and I don't know. I gave
But,
up after Roxxon.
He does something cool at the end. I don't know if it's spoiler alert, but he destroys the Rainbow Bridge, and then
That's never
he's
happened
mortal
before.
now. Yeah, right.
He's mortal now. You said.
He's mortal now. We got a new book coming out, The Mortal Thor, as my wife put it, Thordle.
Mortal.
Thordle.
Well, you know what? I will say that that's what made the Jane Foster Thor run so good. And I know that's blasphemy to a lot of people, but the fact that she was immortal and the fact that she had a different appreciation for life, because when she wasn't Thor, she was literally dying. Then bring that kind of energy to the character. I think that's probably a win.
Yeah. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read Mortal Thor.
I'll start it.
Thor.
I can't make any guarantees. I think it would
Pick up the number 1.
15 issues before that Roxxon when they came up with the Roxxon Thor, and there was that one-shot comic.
Yep.
Where Roxxon Thor was saving the day with the power of oil or something.
The power of oil. Oh man.
Well, all right. What the hell is news from the Fallout, Moshko?
The only book worth reading on this entire list.
You didn't like Captain America?
No, it was okay. It was fine. So you guys were regurgitating some information about Ultimate Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's written by Chris Condon. Same gentleman wrote news from the Fallout. So I think it's supposed to be like 12 issues, but it's an Image book. It's new. Black and white. So after reading the first issue of City of Demons, I was kind of in this, oh, cool, I'll check out another black and white, black and gray book. Art style in this is kind of funky. It's not really crisp, which, you know, you could like or you might not like. But the point of this is it's based in like 1962. They're doing nuclear tests. The basic thing is I guess the sergeant or the people in charge of this base that are doing these tests kind of went rogue, and they're putting stuff in the bomb, and then they're testing the bomb. When they test this bomb, it unleashes a they didn't necessarily say what, but everybody around all the fallout and the ash and everything that comes from it basically infects the soldiers and everybody in the general area, except for one guy. So this one guy is now trying to escape, and all of the people that came in contact with this fallout are now basically like, running zombies. So kind of cool. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I gave up on you for a little bit there, but you pulled me back around.
You brought him back.
You said they were infected.
You brought him back.
An ear pierced.
Hold on.
Huh? Infected.
Say the Z word. Say it.
Yeah. So he's on the run, and they're after him. So first issue is pretty cool. So I'll be picking up the next one.
Radioactive zombies.
Grab that next week. Or this week.
The assumption is that they're zombie. I mean, they're trying to kill this guy. So, yeah, they're infected with something.
Well, based on how you brought this book up, how was Daredevil?
Pile of shit. This is the dumbest thing I've ever. So,
I love,
Buzz and I came to the agreement last time that the 22nd issue of this run was really stupid. So what do? They put the character from issue 22 on it. So remember we talked about the fungus Among Us guy?
The fungus Among Us.
Doesn't even appear in this book.
He's not in the book.
The book has
on the cover.
nothing to do with anything on the cover. It's a completely new arc.
That's so funny.
It's so stupid. Now, to my understanding, this is ending in 25, so this will be the end of it, and then something new will start up. The only bright spot of this book is Taskmaster shows up, and
cool.
it's like a cool Taskmaster.
Yeah, Taskmaster's done right, dude. Taskmaster's terrifying.
Yeah. This is like full on skull face. Like it's cool. But I mean, this is ending, and coming off of the stupid fungi story, Lion's Mane. I'm gonna name them after something that's really good for your brain health. I mean,
Hell
come on.
yeah.
Whatever.
All right. Well, Huey, tell me about Power Rangers.
Power Rangers versus VR Troopers.
Oh, they
Do I need to say
fought?
anything else?
I would have bought it if I knew they were fighting. That's a shame. I told Features not to get it.
And VR, spoiler alert, but VR Troopers kick their ass.
Yeah, damn right.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn
They're
right.
supposed to.
Damn, no, not
And
the shows. Not the shows.
And then at the end, they teased the new Green Ranger.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh.
New Green Ranger.
Who's the new Green Ranger?
Looks like it might be this new version of Rita.
I mean, it makes sense. All right,
I
whatever.
mean, it's a whole different universe, so
And yes, it's,
I'm good with
yes, it goes with Rita. Yeah, whatever.
yeah.
All right, anybody have any other books?
Nah, that was it for me. This
I've been
Fine.
reading that Superman Good Guy Friends Captain Underpants book, but it's nothing to talk about.
Well, this is going to be a good week. Not only do we have Absolute Superman and Transformers this week, but we have a bunch of we got a bunch of movie kind of tie-in stuff. So we also have Incursions this week. So Incursions number 2 is out this week. But there is Fantastic Four First Steps number 1. And there is also Superman Treasury 2025 Hero for All number 1. So look at this, Predator Black White Blood. That's also this week. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Nobody Else Cares But Me.
You bite your
You like Beneath the Trees?
I freaking love that murderous Dexter Bear.
Good. I'm so happy I'm not alone.
Murderous Dexter Bear.
Archie Meets Jay and Silent Bob number 1 is this week.
That's a pickup.
That's a guarantee. Yeah. I'm definitely getting that, no question. Another Toxic Avenger number 1. This must be a reprint. Anyway, good book. It's going to be a decent enough week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really all about Superman, to be honest.
There's
another Fantastic Four number 1 too, but I don't care.
You guys still read Dark Patterns?
I have purchased them all.
That's the one with the.
That's in the to-read pile.
Yeah, that's I'm about 3 behind on that one.
Jeez.
That's the Rebar guy.
The Rebar guy.
Oh,
Dark Patterns.
Dark Patterns. Dark Patterns was originally Mr. Payne or whatever his name with the guy with all the nails in it. But now it's a different arc, and this arc is Scarface.
Oh.
And Scarface is the apartment building, so he's like trapped in an apartment building, like it's what's that awesome action movie?
Monster
The
House.
Raid.
No, The Raid. It's Batman The Raid. But the building that he's going up in it's
shaped like
it kind of is. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like it's definitely had windows that were lit up like its eyes, and it's the
okay.
he's inside of Scarface.
It's Monster House.
I don't know what Monster House is. You said it several times, and I was just gonna keep going, but I don't know what you're saying.
It was an animated movie about a house that was a monster, and they lived inside it.
I mean, they
didn't. They
on the nose with the name.
right.
All right. Well, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
We're talking about Monster House. It's time to finish it up. So you can find the show at That Comic Podcast everywhere online. That's at That Comic Podcast. Do your social media choice, unless it's X/Twitter, which is That Comic Pod. But we actually also have what do we have? What do we have, Lance? Reddit.
Yeah.
We have Reddit now.
Yeah. We have a user. We haven't quite made a
We have a
subreddit
user.
for it, but we're a user.
I don't know what it does, but be on the lookout. It's a thing that exists.
I got my wife helping me out. She's kind of a pro, so.
I am not and don't know what to do with it, but I'm excited to see what happens. So join me, shall we? Anyway, yeah. So be back Thursday for a spoiler-free
tomorrow.
Somewhat spoil. I guess it would be tomorrow for you guys.
Here's the absolute best thing you could do. Subscribe and turn your notifications on for YouTube, so as soon as it goes up there, you'll get it. Also, subscribe on any podcast platform and turn the automatic download on, because you'll immediately get our show. And then as you're going about your day, it'll just start playing. So
yeah, do what Moshko said.
Okay, I got an idea. Then we're going to tie this into the beginning of the show. Moshko wants to change, right? He doesn't want to say his normal intro. What if Moshko, you just do the outro? You just do the outro from Moving On.
Outro.
You
can find us at That Comic Podcast. That Comic Podcast on all platforms except for X, where it's That Comic Pod.
You didn't have to do it again this time. I'm just saying next time.
Do it again. Do it again.
Got it. No, that's smart. That's smart. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it until tomorrow. Come back for Superman. Deuces.
Come back for a second helping.
Deuces.
Third helping.
Third helping. There's a lot of us this week.
Come back for the dessert.
That would be. If there was a dessert for us, it would be Superman.
Yeah. Smash that like button.